just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. Oh, do you know there's 208 days until Christmas 2024? Oh boy, we've got some news to talk about today. Give me just 1 second. I want to send a little invite out to my friends, Jason Ward of Making Star Wars Meg, who released a fantastic video on her Patreon today for her patrons with an interview with the exclusive with Diane Lee and Santo, whatever, Morgan Elsbeth. And then, and also to Bespin Bulletin. Let me get this sent. Let's see. Join today. There we go. There we go. The message is sent. So let's get this back to where I was and get you guys all engaged here. Boy, oh boy, there's been a lot going on, you know. And we've got the Acolyte coming up. And just a few minutes ago, Star Wars released a new promo video. So we'll take a look at that here in just one moment, and we'll talk about that. And we have lots of other things to bring up. One is I was contacted through Twitter by the folks at Clashing Sabers. And Clashing Sabers is doing a thing together with Tales of the Force. And there was been some terrible tornadoes down in Arkansas, and a bunch of folks displaced and such. And they are doing a bit of a fundraiser for Star Wars fans who want to help support some folks down there in Arkansas or over there, wherever you might be. And if you join their Patreon has, they're going to take all the money that they collect in the month of June, and they're going to donate it to getting books for the kids. They're going to get Star Wars books to kids who have been displaced. So let me show you guys just a little bit of what they're doing here so you all can see. Let me show this on the screen and see if you guys can maybe help support these folks over at Clashing Sabers. And I've brought this up before, but Patreon is absolutely the best way to support any of your content creators. Of course, Star Wars Meg has her own Patreon, and she released that video today. Fantastic interview. You guys, be sure you get that. But also, Bespin, he's out there still doing the bulletin stuff, and he's releasing new news all the time. Any support for him would be very much appreciated over on Bespin Bulletin's Patreon. And then, of course, Jason Ward at MakingStarWars.net. All these folks do fantastic work and certainly deserve support from folks who are able to do that. Then we also have lots of other content creators. And I'll just share with you guys, I support TRB. I think the folks over at TRB in large do a very good job. I don't agree with everything they say. I don't agree with all their takes. But you know what? They keep it respectful. They keep it positive. And I try to model to the best that I can that type of content here as well. So Saber Smith, it's so good to see you as well. And I see Jedi Mike is showing we have a $1 patron super chat over on our Patreon. So if you come into the Star Wars Santa Patreon, not only can you get a super chat featured on one of my live streams for just $1 a month, $1 a month, unlimited super chats. You can put as many in as you want, and I'll read them as long as they're appropriate. I have to say that because I've got friends, and I know my friends, and some of them don't put necessarily appropriate content, but unlimited super chats for $1 a month, and you can support the channel that way. Plus, there's tons of additional content, well over 100 videos out there on Patreon that are not available anywhere else. Mainly, they're the Star Wars Santa Reads series, where I've read through several novels, both legends and current canon novels. So you can get those out there as well. And then it just truly, truly helps the channel. So check out our Patreon as well if you like. But we have a 1-week free trial on there for anyone who has not done Patreon or you're not sure. Is this guy, can I listen to this guy without, wanting to, mute him, turn him off? Well, you can do it for a week and it won't cost you a thing. But after that, you can do it for just $1 a month. So Saber Smith, good to see you. And I saw Seth's out here. Seth says the new promo is insanely spoilery. Oh, there's Mike Yaney and Jedi Mike already mentioned. And I saw earlier, I wanted to say, was one of the very first comments. Ron Trackwell, glad to see you back. I had a great vacation and we had a wonderful time over in Kansas City with our daughter. It's good to be back. It's fantastic. And then Mike Yaney right there, he says, hey, Brian, welcome back. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. And for those of you who may not know, that's my name. That's how you spell it. Mike got it right. Thank you for that. So all of you, thank you all for being here. And we've got so many things. And Real Ben says the Ray side's another Star Wars community. I like Hannah tremendously. She's amazing. I think she's fantastic. I reached out to her once. She ignored me. It's fine. I'm just a fat dude in the basement in Ohio. She is fantastic. She's in Australia, and our calendars, our schedules are like vastly separate. So I love Hannah Rayside. She's doing great work there, and she's a good soul. So there you have it. That's from me. There are some good content creators out there, but Clashing with Sabers here, they reached out to me, and you can look here on their Patreon membership page. For just $1 a month, they said your name will be added to a list of donors with each care package of books sent out. So look, for the month of June, you can help out some folks in Arkansas who have been displaced by helping get them, some children, some Star Wars books. How cool is that? And those folks there are doing that. So you can go right out there to Clashing Sabers, $1 a month, piece of cake. You join. There's $1, there's a $2, there's a $3, and if you scroll over, there's a $4. You got 4 different levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they also have this join for free option as well. But if you want to do 1 through 4, you can help support the fundraising that they are doing. So I wanted to bring that up. Also, this new trailer, this new Hannah's good. She's good backup when Santa's busy. I really like her. I really do. I would love to talk with her someday. The question is, would she like talking with Santa? Probably not. I don't know. She doesn't. She probably has no clue who I am, but I think she's great. So there you go. Let's take a look at this trailer. And I want to go through this with you guys. I've got it muted and I got it turned way down. And I saw one of y'all said the trailer is very spoilery. Well, we're going to take a look at it and then we're going to talk about predictions. There's a bunch of other things. Real Ben says, next time I talk to her, I can put in a good word. Hey, thank you, Real Ben. You know, this happened too. My friend and my nemesis, you know, most of my friends are also my nemesis. That's what, because it makes it more fun that way. If you see Matt Risman, you know he's always poking the bear, right? He's always giving me a hard time, but he is the best. I love that guy. He's great, but I also hate him. You know, you can't help it. You can't help it. If you know Matt Risman, it's the way it is. There he is, right? You love him, you hate him, and you love to hate him. You can't, you hate to love him. It's all that. Matt Risman. No, don't give him any sympathy. He doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve any sympathy whatsoever. He has none of it coming. But Matt Risman helped introduce me to the EBN community, and appreciate that as well. So here we go. Let's look at this trailer, and I've got it muted and I've got it down to 0.25 speed so that we get a little more time to look at it. If you want to watch it at full speed and listen to it, you can do that. I've got the subtitles turned on as well so we can see what it says as it comes up, and I'll pause it as we go along, and then we'll jump into our predictions. And yes, the Sith voice is interesting. It's worth hearing if you haven't heard it. It's got a modulation on it. It's not quite like a Kylo Ren modulation, but you know, I saw a theory. Oh, you're leading me down a rabbit hole, Matt. I saw a theory that this mask that you see in the trailer, in these TV spots, this smiley mask kind of thing, the black mask with the teeth in it, it could be a Ren, like a Knights of Ren. You know, that's what Kylo Ren was, Knight of Ren, and he had his flunkies out there doing things. They have maybe moderate force ability, low force ability. They're not like super force users. They're not Sith by any means, but they have their own sort of code. The Knights of Ren very well could be around at this time, and this could be a Ren. This absolutely could be a Ren. And when you see Kylo, he's got that voice modulation, and that's where Poe gives him a little bit of a hard time. I say, hard to understand you that way, like, you know, like, you know. It's hard to understand him. So so this guy has a bit of a voice modulation as well. So very well could be a Ren, R-E-N, and not like Ren and Stimpy either, like just a Knight of Ren. So if that's the case, it would fit. And this voice modulation kind of gets me in that same possibility. And you know how they said we're worried about canon and the whole prequel saying the Sith have been extinct for blah blah blah, right? Well, this would circumvent that. If these are Rens, right? If this is a Knights of Ren kind of situation, and this guy is maybe the head Ren at the time, that could fit. That could fit. They're sort of dark side-ish, mercenary-ish kind of people who are out for their own power, strength, whatever, right? They have their own motives. Could be it. Keep that in your mind as we go forward. We'll revisit it as the show unfolds. So here we go. So they come in, it says the Jedi live in a dream. And this is where you hear that voice modulation in there, right? The Jedi live in a dream. You can see them coming in, and here they're approaching one of the twins. And we've seen this before. She says, I didn't do it, right? So we've got the Jedi Master here with these folks that are going to come find her. We've got the two sisters. They're twins. Then this is, you saw right there, the good twin, the bad twin, back to back. If you've watched the interviews and you followed along, they've said Amandla, who plays these two girls, has specifically said, I play this character and this character, right? They're sisters, they're twins, and I got to play twins. And there was a great interview, one of the interviews where they're speaking with one of the other actors, and he's like, I'm so jealous you did that, and you did such an amazing job. And so we know for sure these are not, one person who is at one point good and then turns bad. We have two sisters, they're twins. Right, it's the way it goes. So let's see. I see some comments. Real Ben says, "Yeah, we just need to realize they're going to play some antics with this." That's true. These people are pretty much Sith, but they're not going to be labeled as that. Right? They could be Wrens. I like the idea of them being Wrens without any other kind of terminology to give to it. Right? Members of the Knights of Ren. It solves all the problems. It really does. Matt says, although at some points, apparently the good twin impersonates the bad twin. So it's hard to tell which twin is which in these trailers, really. True that. And we'll get to that in a moment as well. I think Bespin Bulletin covered it in one of his articles where he was talking about the good twin going undercover as the bad twin to try to flesh them out, right? They want to kind of flesh them out and get the bad guys to step out of the shadows, and so they can figure out who they are. So, which also leads us to a little bit of a theory when you go back to this scene and they're coming for her and she says, I didn't do it. I tell you, I'm innocent. I didn't do it. They're going to believe that. They're going to believe it at some point. And when they do, then they're going to say, hey, would you do us a solid? Would you help us out a little bit? We know it'd be great is if you pretended to be your sister and then we could go find them. That'd be cool. And apparently she says, yeah. So that's sort of how that may unfold. May, you get what I said there? May. That's one of the girls' names. May, I think May is the evil twin. So again, there's a picture here. You see the good twin, the evil twin, or it's the good twin pretending to be the evil twin, one or the other. But here we get a forest on fire, and this is the good twin. There's something else comes through here that had it. There you go, Matt. You got it. It may unfold. We may see who is the good person. Right? Here's a forest that's on fire. We don't know where it is. We've seen other scenes in this in a forest. It could be the same one. It says, "Stand down." Everybody's coming. Here we go. Here's our snarly guy. This is what I think could be a Ren, and it solves the problem. May not be Sith at all. Could be a Knights of Ren kind of guy. This helmet here, and who is that? Who is that person in there? Jedi Mike. He's right there. Happy May 31st. Good job, Mike. Good job. Here's the lightsaber they pull from the dirt, presumably from a defeated wielder. It looks a bit damaged. If you see this lightsaber, we've seen it before where she pulls it to her. But if you look here closely, you can see this hilt looks quite damaged. Not sure what caused it. Not even sure if that's the bottom of the hilt. I think that's the bottom of the hilt right there. And there's that. So there's I didn't do it. Here, I want to point this out because it happens a couple times in this trailer or in this spot. Where she's laying down and she just you know, sits up kind of frantically. You see her do that here, right? Wide-eyed, like, oh, something's going on. This is in the snowy planet where they come and find her. And then there's another one that comes up later. I think it's possible that she sees visions. She may have a little force premonition. Things are to come. And when you see her standing in front of that forest that's on fire, she may or may not be there, right? She could be a vision of something that's getting ready to happen, and she's like there in vision form. I'm getting the vibe. I don't have any knowledge. I'm getting the vibe that it may be a vision, and that's her sitting up and like in a panic mode. There was her master, presumably going to get her. Here we go. Bad twin having a fight with Indara, and this is here you see her having a fight with Indara. The vast majority of folks seem to think that Indara is going to die. She's going to be in one episode, first episode. We may get flashback scenes, history scenes of her in other episodes, but in this case, at the end of one of the TV spots, you can see May leaving this building, this facility, and there's a Jedi laying on the ground and like apparently dead. Maybe just mortally wounded, because it is Star Wars. After all, who's truly dead? But right, could just be a lightsaber wound to the belly. She may be fine. Who knows? Taking a little nap. But I'm guessing she's dead. Because they talk about there's somebody going around killing Jedi. So I think Indara's dead. I think that's the culmination of this first episode and this fight that she has with Indara. So there's a little bit more. Here, more fire, right? More fire. And again, I'm getting the feeling that the good twin is having visions. And so she may be like snapping up, having these visions. This fire may not be actually real. It could be that the fire is symbolic of turmoil, right? Symbolic of something. It might be real too. I don't know. but we keep seeing this theme of fire. We saw it in the forest. We saw it here. And we also see her. Here we get this is the second time we see it in this trailer, right? She's asleep. She's on the bed. It's interesting that the camera view is sideways of her laying down. I think it could very well tie into her standing like in the forest or standing in an environment. It switches. She's still vertical, right? For the screenshot, for the cinematography of it. You see her vertical in this scene where maybe there's fire in the woods or something like that. And then here she is on the bed, still vertical. So it's your transition from the one scene to the next. And what happens is it kind of spins around, right? She sits up and it spins around to bring us back to reality. She had a vision, boop, reality. The one that happened before in the snow area, right? She's laying down, boop, reality. So I think she's having visions and then back and forth. My guess. I don't know. I have no insider knowledge on this whatsoever. Leia Rose, good to see you again. Good to see you once again. Sabersmith, Hot Toys better make an Indara figure. Yes, Carrie Ann is so perfect in this role. Hot Toys is killing it. And you guys, I'm going to do another toy stream fairly soon. There's still news coming up around the HasLab vintage collection project. We still don't know when that's going to get released. But if you go to our Discord, you can see some pictures here from some of the latest Hot Toys. Hot Toys gets it right so often. They do such a good job. And then I've got some Lego here. I started a Lego build, right? I've got the pram built right there, but I don't have yet the Grogu built. I've got Grogu sitting here in pieces. put together. I've got more Lego stuff to put together right there. We've got all of that. And not only that, but look, I've got a box to open. There's something in here. What's in the box? Not only do I have this box, but there's another one waiting for me at the public mailbox. So I'll get that too. And we'll do an unboxing. We're going to do a whole toy themed video fairly soon. But today it's Acolyte, all Acolyte. We'll talk about it some more. So I think she's having visions. And the youngling twin in the training session at the Jedi Temple in the trailer also said she saw fire when her eyes were closed. Good point, Matt. Yes, when they're meditating and he says close your eyes, and the one kid is a what's the species? Rhodian. He's a Rhodian, right? They all close their eyes, and here he is, right? Rhodian. Close your eyes. I can't. I have no eyelids. It's great. It's absolutely gold. But anyhow, when the Rhodian's eyes are open and everybody else's eyes are closed, and then he says, "What did you see?" And the Rhodian says, "I saw you walking around because I couldn't close my eyes." But then she says, "I saw fire." Right. So there's that. Yes. Yes, Sabersmith, he shared in Discord all the Lego stuff got on May 4th. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very active Sabersmith's active on our Discord, and I appreciate it. So anyway, I think justice for eyelids. Yeah. You know, when George initially put Rhodians in, he didn't give them eyeballs or eyelids, right? He didn't give them eyelids. So we've had this problem all along. Poor Rhodians, you know, they need eyelids. But I think she's having visions, right? I think she's having visions, and it goes right with what we saw in that trailer of her saying, "I saw fire." Here we go. Speeder bikes going through the woods. How awesome is that for us OG folks, right? This our original trilogy guys. Speeder bikes going through a forest. Now, this guy here, he's got the black eyes. He's being influenced by the Night Sister mother lady, perhaps. Here's our Wookiee Jedi. Big Boom. The one sister in she's not having a good day. There's our light whip. There's our Vernestra Row with the light whip, and that pretty well ends this new trailer. Oh, I thought this was good. Here's our Ren guy. I'm going to call him a Ren guy. That's my theory. I've got a theory. This is a Ren guy, and he's facing down one of the twins, presumably the good twin. But I just go off of her clothing, right? You can kind of see the shoulder here. She's wearing the lighter clothes, the like work outfit. She's not wearing the real dark, like martial arts kind of outfit. So that's happening right here. And there it is. Acolyte 2 episode premiere coming Tuesday. So there we go. Let's get caught up once again here. Star Wars Celebration Tokyo 2025. Hyped. I'm excited for it too. Of course, I can't go, but anytime Star Wars Celebration's happening, excited. And hopefully they do one close enough that I could attend here someday. I think our good friend Matt Risman is going to be over in Tokyo. So congratulations, Matt. I think I saw where he got tickets. So I think he's on his way eventually, right? Probably why they couldn't see clearly. The Sith is right underneath their noses. Well, yeah, the Jedi, we can get into that. Tenebrous, not sure about that theory now. Right. Yeah, Matt's going. He's going to, we'll have a man on the street in Tokyo, Matt Risman. He'll be there live and in person. So what I want to do with you guys is cover just a couple more stories, and then we'll get into our predictions, because this predictions game we like to play every time there's a new show. We do a little prediction, and if you do well on the predictions, we highlight your name on streams. We like this. I'll show you. This is what we do when there's somebody does well. I put your name here with your score, and what it means is you did as well or better than I did on my predictions. So I'll do my predictions, you do your predictions. If you tie or beat me, then your name goes on the wall of fame, like that. And then at the end of the season, if you play every week, like you don't have to play every week, but if you do ever play, your name goes on the list, just like that. If you tie or beat me at the end of the season in cumulative score, then you go on the season leaderboard winners like Dale at Skywalker's Academy or Baymax or Brett Phillips. And I will send you some Star Wars Santa merch. Like maybe you'd like a water bottle, right? These are metal lined, metal. So maybe you'd like that, or maybe you'd like a hat. Here, I got a hat right there. Hat. Ooh, now I look like a trucker. Right there you go. But the hat, that's stitched. You got stitched lettering right on there. Look at that. That's good stuff. So, or we've got mugs, right? Who wouldn't have a mug? But there you have it. Whatever you would like out of the merch store, I will buy and I will pay to have shipped to you. That's if you make it on this list. You gotta beat me for the season. But that's what we do every time. So we're gonna do the predictions here, and we're gonna try to we're gonna try to guess what's gonna happen in episodes 1 and 2. So, but there's one more article I wanted to touch base on, and there's another article that I don't want to really get into. I'll just do it like this. Before we get to the Bespin Bulletin article, fantastic articles. Bespin's been killing it. There's another article making its way around. And about every content creator you can think of has done something on it. And if you go to YouTube and you Google or you search for Star Wars, you're going to find it across all the channels about the terrible things that were said about Star Wars fans by the folks at Lucasfilm, the folks, the showrunners, stuff like that. This article is Matt was kind enough to send me the entire article so I could read it. It's full of really good stuff, but it's also full of some incendiary kind of things. This fandom likes to get riled up over things, and it doesn't take much, right? The kindling's already there. It's already primed to catch fire. It's got a little accelerant on it, and all it needs is a spark. All this fandom needs is a spark, and boom, you have a raging inferno, right? And it's predictable when we start to see just the tiniest thing said, that you know it's going to happen. You know that it's going to hit the fan. You know that there's going to be another firestorm. And when I saw this article and I read it, I was like, oh, good gracious, this is going to be bad. This could be really bad. I even told Matt, look, there's a point when the house is on fire. Maybe you just burn it to the ground. Maybe that's like at this point, it's really bad. And the biggest problem with it is, and I was thinking about how to put this without offending even more people, but who knows? I'll probably do it. I'll probably offend somebody, but yeah, I was right. No kidding. Have you ever had a friend that you kind of got to walk on eggshells when you're around them? Like they're maybe hot-tempered, short-tempered. There's certain topics that you just don't talk about when you're around a person. And you know that if you bring it up, that's going to be the end of any civil conversation you're going to have with that person. That's this fandom. That's this fandom. There are certain things that you can't say with certain people, or it's going to light the fire. And when I read this, I was like, the person, the interviewer, and the article itself, there's a good bit of interviewer stuff in there too, between the quotes, right? So some of those quotes aren't from Kathleen Kennedy or from Leslie Headland or whatever. They're the interviewer. But some of the quotes are from Kathy and from Leslie. and it's like, oh, they walked into the room with your friend who is easy, short fused, and they just lit it up. Boy, oh boy, it's hard to have the discussion. I will say that I don't think that some of the takes I've seen on this, I don't think was the intent of their comments at all, like at all. And if you go into StarWars.com's Facebook, or you go into Star Wars' YouTube, and you start to look at the videos they post, especially around the Acolyte, and just read the comment section. Go through the comment section. And as you go through the comment section, you will see quotes in there from people who are saying terrible things. And a lot of the things that they say in there are misinformed, it just flat wrong. And the information they get, like one person I saw in a video, I think it was yesterday, said something to the effect that Leslie Headland had never seen even any Star Wars. And it's like, wait, you're wrong. She grew up with Star Wars. She played Star Wars video games. She played Star Wars board games. She read the Legends material, EU material. She read the comics. She is fully engaged with Star Wars. Every level, right? Leslie Headland is a Star Wars fan. But in the comments, you find somebody who says something that's just wrong, right? It's just wrong. Not only that, but if you keep reading, you'll find tons of comments in there. Bespin, look, it's my friend Bespin Bulletin. Good to see you, my friend. You guys remember, I told you earlier, make sure you're following Bespin and go support him on Patreon if you can. So look, they didn't go into this trying to, light the fire. But if you go through the comments and you read some of the things that are in these comments, there are indefensible comments in these videos. Indefensible. And when they talk about those comments and they say, look, there are some Star Wars fans who are ists, right? Fill in the blank. Well, read the comments and tell me they're not, right? There are some people in those comments. Now, some people say, well, those aren't real Star Wars fans. And Leslie Headland said something to that effect. Look, if you are an ist, right? You're just a terrible human. If you're a terrible human, I'm not counting that, right? But if you just dislike something because you dislike something, you don't like a character because you don't like a character, whatever, you don't like a story because it's not the story you wanted to see, that's all fine. That's all fine. But if you're a terrible person, you're a terrible person. And that's what Leslie was saying. And there's other comments in there about like there's a vocal portion of the fandom that say terrible things. Well, go through the comment section and tell me there aren't a vocal portion of the fandom who say terrible things. They do. Just read the comments. This isn't an opinion. Just read the comments. Now, I disagree with a ton of folks about a ton of things. A lot of people don't like me because of my beliefs. That's fine. And I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. Well, we can still be friends. That's the case with many. And I see here with Star Wars obsession. Good to see you, my friend. Love this guy. He's good. He's a good dude. Real solid the earth kind of guy. So you just gotta like dial it down. But every time, and I think Real Ben's touching on it here, says the thing is with the studio, even acknowledging this sort of stuff, there's bad people in every walk of life. It's no shocker. Newsflash, water is wet. Right. No. And it would be best if the folks at Lucasfilm, Kathy, Leslie, anybody engaged with any level of Star Wars project, were just coached a little bit on the front side and said, hey, you guys know that friend that you have that you have to walk on eggshells and you say something and it's just going to ruin their day? Well, that's some of the fans in this fandom. Here are the things that you shouldn't do. Don't talk about these folks. Don't say anything about that. Just stay on point, right? Stay on target. Stay on target, right? You want to talk about your show. Just talk about your show. Talk about the things there. You stay in your lane. You talk about your show. You stay away from this other stuff. You'll be golden, right? And there are fans. There are people engaged, like who their opinions are just as left as anybody else's, but they're not in there riling up the fandom, right? They manage to do well, and they're always complimenting the fans, talk about fantastic fans this community has, and they're right. Just got to stay away from it. You got to stay away from this other stuff. So there's that. All right, enough of that. Enough, I say. We want to get back to Bespin's articles. And I saw Bespin in here talking about, heard a lot from episodes 1 to 4 last week. And Acolyte sounds great. Yes, everything that I've heard and everything I've read looks fantastic. It's no good. So we're going to get into, I've got 2 articles here from Bespin I want to touch base on. This first one, the Acolyte reportedly has a budget of 180 million. If you break that down per episode, it's not the most expensive project in Star Wars, and I think Bespin covers it really well in here. The one thing Bespin didn't do, and I'm not throwing shade at him, I just did the math in my own head. I was like, oh wait. He goes through here. This is talking about the Acolyte, blah, blah, blah. But we get back to the budget part here. And $180 million on 8 episodes is a hefty spend. But it's not the most expensive. That falls to Andor, which had $250 million for 12. Okay, so little homework for all of you all. Oops. What happened? Get out your calculators. Do 250 divided by 12. Boop, 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 boop. 250 divided by 12. Now do this. Do 180 divided by 8, right? 180 divided by 8. Boop, 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 boop. Which one's more? Which one's more per episode? What of these is more than the other? Kids in the room, everybody. If you think if you think that the Andor is the most expensive per episode, raise your hand. Who thinks Andor is the most expensive per episode? Okay, now let's do this. If you think Acolyte is more expensive, raise your hand. Right? It's Acolyte. That's the answer. Acolyte. Right? It's good stuff. Yeah. There you go. Look, Bespin knows how to use a calculator. He can do the math. He did the math, right? 22 million for Andor. No, 22 million for Acolyte, 20 million for Andor, right? So there you go. Bespin can use a calculator. That's really good. Good job, Bespin. That's great. Matt Risman's still picking on me. So Really good article. And then I started thinking about it more. And one of the problems that we have in Hollywood today is the budgets of these movies that they make. And then the box office has trouble uh, getting enough revenue to pay back the spend. And if you were to take $180 million divided by wait a minute, before I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit, because I want to go back to Bestman's other article here, right? There's another article Bestman posted with the runtimes of the first 4 episodes. And here he has them right here: 41, 36, 42, 32. Now, how much of that is how much of that's the intro, recap, and outro credits? Who knows? But let's just say 30 minutes each, right? Failed math 3 times. Never have a calculator in my pocket. Well, look at me now. That's right. That's right. You'll always have a calculator right in your pocket. Always. So 30 times 8 episodes, right? 30 minutes each, 8 episodes. That's about 4 hours. Let's just say about 4 hours of Star Wars content. What if you had a 2.5-hour movie that they spent $180 million producing in the theaters? That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? And if you added on the whole production, the whole advertising, promotional, blah, 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 on top of it, even if you blew that up to say 300 million total all in, that'd still be pretty good. And then, well, okay, to get the money back, you got to do double that. So let's say 600 million in theaters to get your money back. That's a doable number. That's a doable number, especially for Star Wars, right? I'm not saying Acolyte is necessarily movie quality Star Wars. I'm not saying that. But just considering $180 million in the context of how much Star Wars content we're getting, maybe not be a terrible amount. It might be good if we saw more projects, let's say Kenobi, who had a better like 20 million per episode budget. People might not have complained as much. just thinking. Bestman, only send me the math with Ko-Fi, please. There you go. So, look, we've got about 4 hours of Star Wars content coming. 2 hours of it, just 2 hours. That was in the 4 episode, the 4 episode kind of screeners that went out. We've got an hour worth of Star Wars content coming out next week. That's about half of a movie, maybe 2/3 of a movie. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad, right? So let's hope that it's really well. Bestman says that Kenobi money thing is actually weird, right? It had more money spent on it than people think. Basically did 2 pre-pros on it. Oh, they had 2 pre-productions on it. Oh, that because of the virus. Is that it? I'm not sure. So anyway, there's that. Let's do predictions. How about it? I'm happy with these predictions. We did a little bit of rewrite on them, and here we go. This is our predictions game. For those of you who have played before, you're familiar with the with what we do here. And let's see if I can blow this up to where you all can see it. And this is how you play the game, all right? And I'll fill out my first one here. There's 2 predictions. You'll notice this one at the top says season 1, episode 1. This one says season 1, episode 2. This is predictions for episode 2. Look, predictions for episode 1. Make sure, if you want to play, make sure you're doing both, right? Make sure you do both. That would be good. Bestman says basically UK was having it and they built all the sets. Then it moved to the States very late. So we know the Acolyte have 49 million on pre-pro. Do the math for Kenobi. Oh, very good, Bestman. 49 times 2. I think that's what you're saying. And then rounding, whatever that might have been. I think they did more in the volume for Kenobi, though. So maybe 49 times 2 divided by or multiplied by 0.35. I don't know. I don't know the equation, but I get your point. Let's go through here. So the first thing you do is it says, "Who are you?" And this is how you want it to show up. We just put I'll put Star Wars Santa right here. It says, question 1 for episode 1: a Jedi will die, one or more. So it could be multiple Jedi die. I'm going to say yes, because I think Indara is going to die in episode 1. That's my prediction. That's what everything seems to point to. And I'm going to take it that's what happens. That's two pre-pros, principal photography and post. Expensive. Lots of Ko-Fi money. That's true. Lots of Ko-Fi money. A Jedi will die. I think so. I think Indara is going to die in episode 1. Question 2: we visit more than one world or planet in the episode. Space travel doesn't count. So I know how you guys are, right? Especially Dale. He's terrible, right? I have to be very specific here. 2 planets, 2 worlds in one episode. Space travel doesn't count. You can't say, well, they were in space and then they went to this. Nope. They went to this planet and they went to this planet. Are we going to visit 2 or more planets in episode 1? I think so, because we're going to see Indara have this thing here with May. And I think there's going to be something going on somewhere else too. I don't think the whole thing is limited to just this part, right? Nick, what episode will Ahsoka show up in? Hilarious. For those of you that don't know, this is probably 80 years, about 90 years before Ahsoka's born. So there's that. A droid will be referred to by name. Now, Matt Risman helped me put this one back in, because I got to thinking about things and I was looking at former surveys. There are droids in this series. We know there's droids that featured in this series. Some of the articles have told us these droids' names, even showed us pictures of them. But will we see a droid in episode 1, and will they refer to it by name? Well, I'm going to say no. That's just my guess. They're not going to refer to it by name. We may see a droid, but I don't think they're going to refer to a droid by name in episode 1. Could be wrong. We will see more than one lightsaber color in this episode. This is excluding orange or red, right? You can't include red lightsabers. I'm only taking Jedi sabers. So green, blue, purple, yellow. Some combination of that. We'll see more than one lightsaber color in the episode. I'm going to say no. Because I'm not sure we're going to see many lightsabers at all. In fact, we saw the kids training in the Jedi Temple, and I think we will see some of that. They were using sticks. They weren't using training sabers. So I don't think we're going to see training sabers with the kiddos. And I think we're only going to see one lightsaber ignited in Dara's, if even now. Yeah, we'll see in Dara's for sure. So I think just one. I don't think we're going to see multiple, right? We meet a new Jedi that we've never seen before in live action. Well, this is yes. We know 100%. For episode 1, the answer to this question is yes. Because the first time we see anybody who's a Jedi, it's the first time we've seen him in live action. It's going to happen. So this is an easy one. This is super, super easy. Answer, yes. We will see. I again, thinking of Dale, thinking of Skywalker's Academy, and how he tries to wiggle his way into points. Says to meet a Jedi means the character is introduced by name. Hey, here's my friend Joe. He's a Jedi. That counts, right? He speaks a line, right? The Jedi speaks a line, or is featured as a primary character in a scene, even if they don't maybe give their name. right? They're featured in a scene. Background characters in the Jedi Temple or among a large group don't count. So let's say we meet Vernestra Rowe in episode 1. I don't know. Maybe we see her in episode 1. But in episode 2, we see her again in the Jedi Temple, and there's a whole mess of people behind her. You're like, okay, well, Vanessa doesn't count, but look at all those people. I've never seen that one before. I've never seen that one. Give me my point. Nope, that's not how it works. If they're in the background, they don't count. Yes, only the first time we meet them, right? So there you go. I try to be specific on the definition. Someone's killed a non-Jedi. So we had the question before, a Jedi will be killed. Someone else is killed, a non-Jedi. And could that happen? I think yes. I'm going to say yes. Because some of the plot, presumably, and I don't know if we'll get it in episode 1 or come later, part of the plot is these two girls, these twins. One is taken by the Jedi Order. The other is not. And then their village is attacked and people die in that attack. If it's in episode 1, that would be yes. I don't know. It might be episode 6 before we see that. I don't know. We'll see. Episode 7. Someone uses Star Wars slang. So it could be, may the force be with you for light and life. Nerf herder. Wizard. Dank ferret. Or Carabast. Buckethead. Any of those. Those would count. Will somebody use a Star Wars slang? Yeah. I think so. That's my guess. Someone uses the force observably. Well, we saw that in episode in the trailer that presumably is episode 1. I'm going to say yes. There's a reference to a named Sith. Now this is fun because there's a lot of speculation about Darth Tenebrous or Darth Plagueis or Darth Bane being mentioned, anything like that, a Sith. During this time period, just so if you guys don't know, Darth Plagueis, his real name is Hugo Damask, right? So if you see Hugo Damask as a little kiddo walking around, or you see a building that says Damask Holdings, or they have a meeting with Damask Holdings to talk about something, that counts, right? All this counts for Plagueis, right? Darth Tenebrous, that's Plagueis' master, Darth Tenebrous. His actual name is Rugus Gnome, right? So if you see Rugus Gnome meandering about, and they name him, he's a Bith. He's got those weird looking fingers. That's all I'm saying. Darth Bane. If you hear about Darth Bane's rule of 2, anything like that, then that would count. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I don't think this is about the Sith. I am leaning in right now. I'm leaning into these being like our good friend Kylo Ren, right? I think that's going to be the case. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. Last question 10. A species of droid talks in another language. This is Matt's question, right? They speak in another language with subtitles to translate. They like to do that, especially when you get certain species. They speak in another language and they'll put the translation underneath. It does, and I said if we see in show on screen subtitles, it counts. Not using the closed captioning. You can't use closed captioning, the audio descriptions. But if somebody speaks and they put it on the screen as a translated phrase, then it counts. Will we see that? Leslie is such a Star Wars nerd, and if they do it with Rhodians a lot, I'm going to say yes. Because I know there's a little Rhodian kiddo in there. And maybe that'll happen. I'm probably wrong again. But I'm voting yes for episode 1. And then we get this bonus question where you get the opportunity to get 1 to 5 points of bonus questions. And I give you some examples of how to earn these bonus questions. So you get no points for things like episode runtime. That doesn't count. It has to be in show. Something in show, not something meta about the show, right? Not some characteristic of the show. So that doesn't count. anything not in the show itself. Example, the episode's longer than the last episode, right? That doesn't count. A negative prediction, like Yaddle will not be in this episode. That doesn't count. You don't get any points for that. Or something will not happen, like a Jedi will not appear. We will not see Plagueis. We will not visit Tatooine. Right? You can't say anything like a negative like that. It has to be something that will happen in the show. So those are all 0 pointers. 1 pointers. I gave several examples here. We're not limited to these examples, but it's just to give you a taste for maybe what would count as a 1 point. It says a Jedi uses the Force. 1 point, right? A Jedi uses a lightsaber. That's a point. Someone shoots a blaster. Yep. Unspecified cameo. Like there will be a cameo. You don't say who, but yeah, that's a 1 point. A ship flies in space. 1 point, right? A flashback scene, a fight. We visit Coruscant, right? All these are 1 point, right? May fights like a trailer scene, right? May fights in Dara in a tavern or bar. Well, we see that, and we think it's going to be in episode 1, so that'd be a point, right? And in fact, here I'll give you guys, and then or a leaked scene. So if our friend Bespin, who's here in the chat, or Jason or somebody spills the beans on a scene and you quote it, then you get 1 point. You get 1 point because you didn't guess it. Bespin gave it to you, or Making Star Wars gave it to you, or Santa. Maybe I give it to you. I don't know. If it's a leaked scene, 1 point. 5 pointers. These are the ones people go after. The 5 pointers, a specific cameo, like Yoda will share wisdom with a Jedi. Well, there's a specific cameo, right? Yoda, and he's doing a specific thing, right? Yaddle talks to a Jedi. If that happens, if you guess it and it happens, you get 5 points. Chewbacca visits with Kelnaka, right? Kelnaka is the Wookiee Jedi in the series. If Chewbacca visits with Kelnaka, you would get 5 points. By all reports, none of this is happening, right? None of it. So don't guess these things. None of these things are supposed to happen. If you guess, you're probably going to get 0. We visit a specific named planet not seen in a trailer. Like we will visit a current ruler on Naboo. That'd be cool. I would love to see like who's the king or queen or whatever of Naboo, and we go to Naboo and visit them. That'd be awesome. We haven't had near enough Naboo in Star Wars since the prequels. We need more Naboo. Maybe that's in there. So you could guess. Maybe that would be the case. So again, we get a specific thing to happen there, right? And then the last one I gave here, unexpected action. Mother Anastasia, right? She's the witch lady in the trailers we see. The black lady with the paint on her and all of that. The real fancy garb. That's her. So if Mother Anea talks about the Night Sisters' connection to Peridia, right? Peridia. There's your Ahsoka reference, you guys. I gave you that. So these would be 5 pointers if any of these things happen. My answer, I'm just going to go for the 1 point. May fights in Dara in a tavern or bar, right? Now, again, you don't have to use these examples. I'm just giving you guys a gimme. I'm going for the 1 pointer. Just 1 point, right? So there you go. I would submit that. There's Santa's predictions for episode 1. I'll do my predictions for episode 2 on my own. And then, Matt says, I think she's a different kind of witch. Yeah, I think so too, Matt. That's why I put it in there as a 5 pointer. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think it's a thing. But there you have it. I'll be sharing out the links to these predictions later today. I'll put them on Discord, YouTube, Patreon. I'll put them on Twitter and Facebook. So look for the links to the predictions later today. Be sure you fill out both. If you fill out both, then you can compete for the season leaderboard. Or if you just want to do one, you don't feel like it, you can get your name listed on the Wall of Fame for matching or beating me in any one. And since I gave you my predictions, you could just copy right? You can copy. If you copy my answers word for word, the whole thing, top to bottom, you would tie. You're guaranteed to tie Santa, and you would show up on the Wall of Fame. That's one way. That's why I'm doing the second one offline, where you guys you can't steal my answers, right? Matt says, I don't think she's actually a night sister. Matt, there was one stream that I watched, or one video I watched from a content creator. I think it was in an interview, maybe somebody who saw the screeners. I can't remember, who mentioned she may be from that a different clan. So we've seen two clans on Dathomir. The Night Sisters clan we're familiar with, and in the Mother Townsend, not the Mother Townsend, that's in the ones with Morgan Elsbeth from Tales of the Jedi, not Tales of the Jedi, whatever, the series we just saw. Oh, Brian. In that series, we saw this other clan, the Mountain Clan, that were like light users. If this is a third clan, they could also be Night Sisters. And this might just be somebody mathing it, right, on their own, saying, oh, it's a witch. It's Star Wars. Guess what? That means they're a Night Sister. No, that doesn't mean that. It might mean that, but it also might not mean that at all. So she could be from a different clan, but probably not. So I agree with you, Matt, but I throw it out there as a possibility. Hey there, Louis says, good to see you. Good to see you too. Missed your streams all this week. No, I wasn't streaming this week. I just came back from vacation. The schedule for next week is we may do a stream Tuesday as a preview right before the episode, the opening for Acolyte. We might do a show Tuesday, probably not. Tuesday night, I'm going to watch it on my own. Wednesday, we'll do a rewatch breakdown here on the channel. So Wednesday for sure next week. Thursday, still in the air. And then I would love to do one Thursday just as a, what's your response to the opening of the Acolyte. And our Thursday streams are typically where I bring in a special guest, or I open up as a community stream for all of our patrons and YouTube members that can join right here on the show. And we could talk about Star Wars. So next Thursday, that may be the case. By the way, speaking of special guests, I did reach out to somebody I follow, and I really, really enjoy their content a lot. I'm trying to read some books before I do the interview or do the show with them, but it's John Justice from My Nerd World. I don't know if you guys have seen that. He's an author. He's a Star Wars fan, and he has a podcast. And I reached out to him, and he said, hey, if you ever want to do something together, let me know. So I reached out to him and said, yeah, I would love to do something together, but I want to read his books first so I can fully engage in a discussion with him. So there's that. Says, but he's way behind. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, Mike, Jedi Mike, he normally joins me on these streams. And there is Mike Porter. There is Sabersmith says he's awesome. Yeah, John Justice, My Nerd World. I enjoy his podcast a lot. Mike Porter. Speaking of Mike Porter, guess what, folks? We have a Mike Porter dad joke. We love Mike here, and I've known Mike now for a long time. And Mike's a great dude. Before we do the Mike Porter dad joke, just one more reminder for anyone who is inclined. Clashing Sabers. They're doing a bit of a fundraiser for folks who have suffered consequences of a tornado down in the South here and in the United States. Children displaced from the tornado. They're doing a bit of a book drive, and anybody who joins their Patreon for the month of June, all of the revenue collected from Clashing Sabers in the month of June. Their Patreon is going to buy books for kids, Star Wars books for kids who were displaced by the tornado. So if you are inclined to do so, please join them over on Patreon. So Mike Porter, he's been around a while. Mike Porter is one of my peers, and I love him. A dude down in Alabama. And he gave us a dad joke, or Georgia. Sorry, Mike Porter's in Georgia, I think. He says, what is one of the favorite sayings from a Star Wars pirate? Think about pirate phrases. What do pirates say? And then make it Star Wars, right? What's a pirate say and make it Star Wars? Well, blurg me down. There you go. Well, blurg me down. And if you know Santa, you know I love the blurgs. And I'm super excited. We're getting some vintage collection blurgs here very soon. So you guys, thanks for being here with me today. It's good to be back from vacation. It's good to be spending some time with you. Of course, vacation's the best. But if I'm not on vacation, I'd rather be spending my time with you. So I'll put it that way. Tim's Talk. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tim. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for saying hi. You guys, super excited about the Acolyte. I had fun visiting with you all today. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed weekend. I can't wait until next time. And until then, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.